Heading into the weekend trailing? Don't worry, I got some must-have players that can change the tide. We'll talk about that and more on today's action-packed episode of Locked On Fantasy Baseball.
You are Locked On Fantasy Baseball, your daily fantasy baseball podcast. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, fantasy baseball fanatics, and welcome to the Locked On Fantasy Baseball podcast, brought to you by the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. As always, we're your number one source for fantasy baseball knowledge, and thank you for making us your first listen each and every day. I'm your host, Matthew Ane, and you can find me on X at Matthew_Ane. And unfortunately, I'm not joined by my co-host, Dominic Martino, probably be joining us next week, so can't wait for that. If you're watching on YouTube, please hit the bell below to subscribe to the channel and give you a notification every time we drop a new episode. Also, please do the same on Apple or Spotify, wherever you may listen. And since you're listening on there, you might as well leave us a 5-star rating or review because it'll really help us out. And if you want more than what we offer in this 30-minute podcast, you're going to want to check us out on Subtext and become a member of the Diamond Club. The link is in the description of the show, and you'll get waiver wire rankings, prospect call-ups alerts, and so much more. Plus, you'll be able to ask us questions directly. So check us out. You get 2 weeks free, and then you can choose whether you want to stick around or not. I think you will. So with that being said, guys, I also want to talk about today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150, win or lose. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started today. Okay, so I read this a lot faster than Dom. Not to throw shade. Love you, Dom. Miss you. Hope you're okay. But one thing I will say is, since I move and groove, I'm going to talk about the show and what my goal is for today. So here's the thing. Today, we're going to be talking about guys that are either hot hand and we're just going to stream for the weekend or have a good matchup, or we're going to talk about guys that could possibly have possible long-term implications. And I'll break that down. And some of these guys are 23%, some of these guys are 50%, but a lot in the 20%. So it's going to help you not only in like your shallower leagues, but also in your deeper leagues as well. So we'll get into it, and hopefully I can help everybody out on this one. So yeah, let's get into it. And we're going to start off with Brandon Marsh. Brandon Marsh, he's 23% owned right now, which is fantastic. He's out there in most leagues, and he is killing it. One thing we thought that, at least around here is, oh, they're going to sit him against lefties again, and this is just getting frustrating because the dude, when he's in the lineup, performs, and if he gets consistent play, he's going to work through it, and he's going to be good. Problem is, last year he kept getting, sat and then came back in and sat and came back in and was never able to work through the issues. So hopefully, the manager gets his head out of his rump and kind of keeps it in. And he's only been sat one game, got one rest day so far. So Brandon Marsh, I think, has kind of locked in at least a roster spot for now, has a short leash, but right now is able to play, and he's performing and taking advantage of his opportunity. Through 36 at bats, he has 5 runs. He has 3 bombs, 7 ribs, a stolen base, and he's batting .333. So he hasn't hit in doubles or triples yet. He's only walked 2 times to 14 strikeouts. But, maybe in points leagues, he's maybe not as valuable, but I still think he should because, the dude does hit a lot of doubles. Last year, he hit 25 and he had 25 doubles, and he had 6 triples last year. And, I think that is definitely repeatable for him. And he's also just batting for average. So, he may be getting you singles or at least getting a hit or getting on base because his OPS right now is a 942. So he's getting on base and he's doing his job. So he's going to produce in not only just, 5x5 categories leagues or head-to-head categories leagues where, I think he's a little bit more valuable. But even in points leagues, he's going to get the job done. And the doubles and triples are going to come. So he's going to have that. The only thing he's probably going to kill you in is the strikeout. So, that may be the one caveat where he may not be as long-term solution or an everyday starter, where Brandon Marsh, if he continues this pace in 5x5 category leagues, he could end up being an everyday player. And, we all just lost Luis Robert. Things just haven't been going good in the injury world, specifically pitching, which I got some good names for you later in the show in that regards. But just Oh, it's getting ugly. So Brandon Marsh could honestly be a bright spot off the waivers at 23% owned. So, consider adding him without a doubt. I wouldn't say he's one of my must ads, but he's definitely somebody that I am strongly considering. But okay, we got Brett Beatty up next, and Brett Beatty, my guy, I believe is 16% owned, so he's out there in a whole bunch of leagues. Third base eligibility, love it. We lost Royce Lewis, we lost Josh Young, and they're not going to be back for some time. I think they're both. Best case scenario for Lewis is 8 weeks, 6 to 8 weeks. Young is also 6 to 8 weeks, but worst case for Lewis could be 3 months. So it's just a wide range outcome, and Beatty could be a bright spot, whether it's short term or long term. It's TBD, but he does have has an avenue where he could be a long term contributor. Beatty is a fantasy darling for a lot of people that play fantasy baseball, and with rightfully so. In 2022, he did have a season where he had 19 home runs and 362 at bats, and he was able to string together with 60 runs and 76 runs and 60 ribbies. He batted 315 that year, and he had 49 strikeouts to, 104. I'm sorry, 49 walks to 104 strikeouts, which is pretty good. Even even in that 2023 season where he was in the minors for a short stint, through those 104 at bats, he did have 10 runs. So the dude does have power. He just hasn't been able to either have consistent play or be able to stay healthy and be in the lineup every single day in order to just get out there and perform. I think this year, right now, they're pretty much making the commitment and keeping him in the lineup. And I like it. If he has everyday play, I'm game to add him and see what happens. I already did in a few of my leagues. Beatty does have the upside. Power is there. And right now he's hitting 325 average. The only thing that's a little concerning is a 772 OPS, but I ain't mad at it. It's, about a little bit above average, which is not bad. But, there's a possibility in a world where he's hitting, having an 850 OPS and the batting average comes down a little bit, probably to more 275, 280. And I'd be really happy with that, even though, in the minors, he's had seasons where he's had 298, 315, 292. But I think maybe this year, if he gets a full year play in the bigs, it'll probably be more like 280, 275. And, that's good movement for him. So I'm all about it. But all right, let's talk about Edward Olivares. Edward Olivares is, I got on another page here. He's 5% owned. Pittsburgh Pirates, I was going to say Steelers, outfielder, and is performing right now. I actually like what he's doing. So Olivares, 28 years old. So he's more of like a short-term ride the wave kind of type guy, but through 28 at bats, he has 7 runs. He has a double. He has 3 bombs, 7 ribs. He's walked 2 times to 5 strikeouts. He's batting 321 right now with an OPS of 1045. You know, I'm not sure if he's going to be an everyday player, but for this weekend, if you're in need of in need of a player or somebody to replace you know Luis Roberts, and he's definitely playing, I'd add him. He's playing Philly at Philly in Citizen Bank Park. I'm actually going to be at the game on Sunday, so that's going to be fun. I might see him hit a dinger or not, maybe, but he is sitting. He sat a lot since he's been up. He said about what 1, 2, 3, 4 games out of all the games in baseball so far that have been played. But doesn't mean he's going to sit all weekend. Right now he's hot, so maybe the manager says, okay, we're going to ride the hot hand. So I can understand why he's 5% owned. But if you're in a pinch where you need somebody and you need to see if the power is flowing, might want to consider Oliveras. He's a deeper league play. I don't know if I'm doing it more shallow leagues like 10-man or 12-man leagues is more like a 14-man, 15-man play. But Oliveras could provide you with a nice little, bump over the weekend. And if you can earn everyday play, it's going to be intriguing to see what's going to happen. But all right, I got 2 more bats coming up after the break. And then I got a whole bunch of arms that are going to help you kind of at least get through the weeds and get through the struggles of injuries of all the pitchers that have gone down this season. Oh my God. I can't even get it. It's like TJ season out here, and it's not a good thing. But all right, I'll be back right after this. Guys, we're talking about Ibata. Spring is sprung, and that means spring cleaning. And whether that means stocking up on cleaning supplies or swapping out your winter clothes for new spring clothes, make sure you're using Ibata. Get real cash back with every purchase Ibata. purchase. Ibata is a free app that gives you the most cash back every time you shop on hundreds of different items or groceries, beauty supplies, or toys. So you can make sure that you're beating inflation no matter what you're purchasing. The average Ibata user earns $256 per year. That could cover the cost of an entire shopping trip, a flight you've been eyeing, or a fancy dinner you've been craving. Other apps give you points, but they don't amount to much. With Ibata, and just add the offers in the app and upload your receipt to get the real cash. That's cash right out of your bank, right to your bank account, to PayPal or gift cards. Join over 50 million users and earn cash back every time you shop with over 2,700 brands and retailers, including all your favorite grocery stores, Lowe's, Macy's, Sephora, Best Buy, and more. Right now, Ibotta is offering listeners, sorry, $5 for trying Ibotta by using the code LOCKEDONMLB and you register. Just go to the App Store or Google Play Store and download the free Ibata app to start earning cash back. And use the code Locked On MLB. That's IBOTTA in the Google Play or App Store. Use the code Locked On MLB. And all right, guys, Locked On has launched its first ever national 24/7 streaming channel on YouTube. Locked On Sports Today is here for you 24/7, covering the top stories of the day with your local experts on Locked On, plus our national shows covering every league. Go to Locked On Sports Today on YouTube and subscribe to the first ever national 24/7 streaming channel. Also, guys, introducing the Locked On Fantasy Baseball Podcast's Diamond Club on Subtext, your ultimate fantasy baseball companion. Get real-time alerts right to your phone, including waiver wire rankings, instant call-up notifications, injury reactions, and a whole lot more. Stay ahead of your fantasy leagues by joining the Diamond Club on Subtext, where your path to victory begins. Subscribe now and elevate that fantasy baseball experience to new levels. And guys, come on, check it out. You get 2 weeks free. I keep driving that in. I think once you have it, you won't cancel it. It's a minimal cost, and it's gonna really give you an edge on your competition. So please check it out and give us a shot. All right, let's get back into baseball. Enough self-promoting for now. Got another one a little bit later, but we'll get into that. But anyway, I got a good name for you, and it's very surprised on his ownership percentage, and that's Eloy Jimenez. I guess after the injury and everybody being frustrated that, he's made of glass, which he pretty much is at this point. He's 56% owned, and that means he's out there in 44% of leagues. And they're talking about, him getting out there this weekend possibly. I'm actually rocking the Eloy jersey right now. And I'm all about the Eloy train. He had a good spring. He looked like he was getting ready. I mean, hey, who's to say he can't have a good sprint, a good season? Who's to say he can't put it all together? I mean, maybe this is the only little hiccup of the season. I mean, granted, the likelihood of this really isn't in his favor, but who knows? But when Eloy is healthy, man, he can perform. I mean, 2023, not even 2022, let's talk about, right? 2022, 40 runs through 292 at bats, 40 runs, 12 doubles, 16 bombs, 54 ribs, batted 295. Even last year, he actually put together a decent amount of appearances. He had 456 at bats. He played 120 games. He had 50 runs, 23 doubles, 18 bombs, 64 ribs, and he batted 272. Now, I would have liked to see more power since he had that many at bats, which I know he's 100% capable of. I would have expected with that many at bats, maybe more like 22 home runs. But hey, it was just a matter of when he got hurt and, him not being able to stay consistent. So, right now his upside 100% could be 30 bombs if he, manages to stay healthy from here to now, or even if he just has another stint or two for a week at a time over throughout the season, he could still hit 30 bombs without a doubt. He's going to hit for average. He's 100% going to do that, anywhere from 275 to 285. He is going to probably be lackluster in runs and ribbies just based off of one with Roberts being hurt, and just that lineup having nobody but him at this point. So it's just looking ugly on that front. Sorry, I had to take a sip there. But ultimately, Eloy is going to contribute every single day. And if he's out there, you're not having to draft him anymore. Just pick him up. He's probably better than most of your bench players at this point, especially in those deeper leagues. If he's available, pick his butt up. Do not sleep on him, because when he gets picked up and he gets played against you in that next league, you're going to be kicking yourself. So just scoop him up now and, don't look back. If he gets hurt again, consider dropping him, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Hopefully, it's not for a bit. you know, it is what it is. But Eloy Menace has all the talent in the world, and I feel he needs to be added everywhere. Right. We're going to move on to our last bat here. We're going to talk about Colt Keith. Colt Keith, another guy not really owned at all. He is 23% owned, and he's not really off to a great start, to say the least. But I'm highlighting him more as a speculative ad than anything else. He hasn't gotten the power going, and he has power. Okay, in the minors last year, he had 27 home runs and 507 at bats. He also had 101 ribs, and he batted 306 and 301 the year before that, and 286 the year before that in the minors. Now, obviously, I don't think he's going to hit 300, but I think more like 275, 280. I think that's more realistic. I think the power is going to eventually pop out. So maybe I'm not saying add him. He's more of like maybe just like put on the watch, and then we could see how this season unfolds with Colt Keith. But the second he hits his first dinger, I think it might start coming and coming and coming and coming. So I kind of want to get on there now before it's too late. And with the second base, and I believe he's got third base on Yahoo. Let's see real quick. Colt Keith has second and third on Yahoo. So, I mean, again, another third baseman that could possibly provide you a little pop and, kind of hold down the fort if he does start getting going. And man, he can do some damage for you. But right now, like I said, he's not really performing. So I'm not running out there. But the second he starts moving and grooving, you have to hop on it pretty quickly because I think Colt Keith is just an explosion waiting to happen. And let's see his spring numbers real quick because his spring numbers weren't bad either. He only managed to get one dinger, but he did bat 280, 241, which isn't atrocious. But the walk to strikeouts weren't bad. 4 walks to 10 strikeouts. Was able to get 3 runs and a 2 doubles and a triple with 9 ribs. Like, it's gonna come. It's gonna come. Maybe not so wonderful or all at once, and it might be spanned out with some hot and cold stretches. Colt Keith, it's going to come. And again, watch out for him. At least the worst case scenario, he's going to be a great ride the wave player on and off throughout the whole season. So, yeah. All right, let's get our first pitcher in here. Let's talk about Paul Blackburn. Paul Blackburn is somebody that honestly has gone out and showed himself. So far this season, he has about 20% ownership. So he's out there in 80% of leagues. And he's doing his thing at age 30. 13 innings pitched, 7 strikeouts, a 0 ERA with a .53 whip and a FIP, field and independent pitching, which is, essentially just a better gauge on how they're actually pitching if they had an average defense behind him. And it's a 2.43 FIP, so that's nice. So that the performance is kind of legitimate, like I'm kind of okay with how he's performing, and it's not too, overperforming. Like there's, for instance, a guy could be, several runs ahead of it. Now, yes, this is several runs. This is 2, but at the same time, it's only been a couple starts, 13 innings pitched, but he's performing and living up to the sub-3 ERA part, which I'm liking. He's performing well. He probably got lucky in a couple circumstances, but I'd totally take a 2.43 ERA. Let's put it that way. And he's gone out and done it against Cleveland and Detroit. And his next start is Washington, which is today for you guys, tomorrow for me. So he's kind of like if you have same day ads, pick him up. And if not, you might want to stash him and see what the play is for next week. Maybe you start him, maybe you don't, or maybe you hold off until Sunday, and then you consider adding him on Sunday and get a free pitcher for next week and see what the matchup's going to look like. Because Paul Blackburn is performing right now, and you know what? Not for nothing, Washington, they aren't like a true pushover. Sorry. True pushover. Abrams looks like he's about to make me eat. Makes me look like I put my foot in my mouth and eat some crow. We'll see as the season unfolds. But if he can get around him and whatnot, Paul Blackburn should be able to provide at least a good fantasy outing. If not, he'd also be a great DFS play. Whether that's on FanDuel or whatnot, and possibly placing a bet on him. So Paul Blackburn is definitely somebody that I'm taking a look at on multiple aspects of it, and might as well lead into it. It was a great, segue into my break here, and I do have a whole bunch of pitchers. I have 4 more pitchers for you guys, like Tyler Anderson, Andrew Abbott. I got a closer, and I got a pitcher that almost feels like a curse word on this podcast, but we'll talk about him anyway because right now he looks good. Right before that, we have some sponsors for you. And guys, we're talking FanDuel. It's playoff time in the NBA and NHL. Baseball is in full swing, and FanDuel is your place to bet on every game right now. New customers get $150 in bonus bets guaranteed. That's $150 win or lose. Bet on everything from slap shots to home runs to slam dunks, all the apps, all on the app that is safe and easy and secure and easy to use. As a host of Locked On Fantasy Baseball, I actually have some great bets for you. I'd actually bet on the Paul Blackburn bet that I was just talking about. Bet on his strikeouts, maybe. The over probably isn't too high, so I'd probably go for that. Also, too, Detroit Tigers. Honestly, this feels like a great bet right now. Right now, Detroit Tigers on over 1.5 runs in their next game. Like, honestly, if the over's for that, I'd totally try and go for it because, I mean, they could pop at any second. Same with the Twins, you know, over 2.5 runs in their next game. I mean, they look good. I mean, they get 3 runs, you win. And regardless of the fact you're going to have $150 in bonus bets just to play with it. So why not, right? So, and throw a dart on this one. This one is actually pretty cool. Throw a dart throw on this at a tie for most hits in any game. That's the odds are pretty good. Yesterday was plus 850, so might as well go for that. So what are you waiting for? Visit fanduel.com/locked on and make your first bet an automatic win. FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. And guys, we're also talking about LinkedIn. Are you struggling to close a deal? Business to business sales tougher than ever. And that's why I need to tell you about LinkedIn Sales Navigator. LinkedIn Sales Navigator is sales intelligence platform that helps professionals efficiently effectively prospect and engage high value customers, drive higher revenue, and increase sales performance. Sales Navigator helps you target the right buyers, surface key signals such as job changers or which accounts you should prioritize, and show your hidden allies so you can find those buyers that are most likely to convert. Fueled by LinkedIn's 1 billion member platform, Sales Navigator gives you the most up-to-date first-party data, enabling you to unlock conversations that with people that matter. Right now, you can try LinkedIn Sales Navigator and get 60-day free trial at linkedin.com/locked on. That's linkedin.com/locked on for a 60-day free trial. Let LinkedIn Sales Navigator help you sell like a superstar today. Just go to linkedin.com/locked on and get started today. All right, guys, we're in the last hole here. I got 4 more names for you, and I hope I can fit them all in. And I'm going to move a little bit faster now that I don't have to kind of space it out. We're going to talk Tyler Anderson. Tyler Anderson looking pretty good. 20% owned, I might add. Tyler Anderson, so far on the season, through a couple starts, has not given up a run either. He is 14 innings deep, 8 Ks, a 0 ERA with a .78 whip and a FIP of 271. I like it. I like what he's doing. Tyler Anderson is by no means a long-term play. But I'm going to ride the wave while his stuff looks good. He eventually will have the floor drop out from the beneath him, but hey, screw it. He went out and performed really well against Tampa. He went out and performed against Miami. His next start is Boston, and Boston has not looked hot. You know, Rafael Devers hasn't been able to get going. Sedane Raphael hasn't been going. Trevor Story just hit the IL. I mean, it's a prime matchup, and he's pitching what? On Sunday. Pick him up. Get him. If you're down in K's, he may not be able to help you there, but he might be able to suppress your ERA. He's a good ad this weekend, and I'll totally roll him out. And hey, why not? I'll put my money where my mouth is. I'm putting a bet on him this weekend too. So Tyler Anderson is 100% a full-blown, I wouldn't say guarantee, but best chances of getting you a good performance. So honestly, take a look at Tyler Anderson without a doubt. All right, we're going to move on here. We're going to talk about Andrew Abbott too. Andrew Abbott, he is 43% owned and with pretty good reason too. You know, the only thing I don't like about Abbott just right off the bat is the fact that he pitches in Great American Hitter Park. And that sucks. But other than that, he is performing. 10 innings pitched. He has 8 Ks, a 3.48 ERA. He is only giving up 1 home run, which I like. And he has a whip of 1.355, which is high. Do not get me wrong. But you know what? You look at his minor league career and Right before he got called up last year, he had a sub one, but it's always been kind of high. He likes to strike guys out. He's always been a well over a K per nine guy. Whereas, like in the minors in 22, he had 118 innings pitched and 159 strikeouts. Like the dude can strike everybody out under the sun. So it explains that he's like one of those dudes like Blake Snell that just, okay, he's going to get a million strikeouts, but then he's going to walk a couple guys too. And that's kind of just like the trade that you're going to make with Andrew Abbott. But I think Andrew Abbott's a great, great talent. And, obviously, if he was pitching anywhere else except for Colorado or, Cincy, I'd be a lot happier with him. But ultimately, Andrew Abbott is going to be going in. Let me pull up what his next matchup is too, because honestly, I'm rolling him out there without a doubt. So it's going to be the White Sox, and the White Sox are beat up to living hell. And if Eloy doesn't play tomorrow, um, which again is same day ad typed in, same thing with Paul Blackburn. But if Andrew Abbott, I mean, if Eloy doesn't play, he's going to be a great start. I mean, there's nobody in that lineup who the recently called up Oscar Colas who couldn't get it done when he got the opportunity last year. So why can't they? And he's in the position to get a win too because Ellie's firing on all cylinders. It looks like. Hopefully CES is getting things done. India looks good. So like the team itself is looking good. So the potential for him to get a win, have a good outing, probably get a bunch of strikeouts because there's nobody out there that could actually swing a bat. I got the uniform. I might be able to go out there and have a better shot than half those guys. So I mean, honestly, this is going to be a really good start. So if you have same day ads, 100% add them right now. But all right, let's keep going here. Let's talk about Michael Kopech on the opposite side of this last matchup. Kopech has been getting some saves. He is also 30% owned, and he's out there, and it's hard to get saves right now. And it looks like right now he has the job. And Kopech, I like it. I like the matchup. I like just honestly him getting saves. I like him out of the bullpen. Let's put it that way. So he's had 7 innings pitched and he has 12 strikeouts. It's that simple. He is a guy that's going to contribute out of your closer's position, get you saves, but on top of that, he's going to get you strikeouts. And even if his ERA is a little higher, which it's a 2.45, which his FIP is significantly higher. It's about 2 runs higher. It's 4.16, which I don't like. But hey, through one inning, it may never poke its head out. He may be in between at like a 3.5, and I'll be okay with that as long as he doesn't destroy me every other week. But right now, to get saves is hard. And if for some reason the Reds forget how to play and Kopech gets put in a save situation, I think he can get it done. He's done it twice already this season. Why can't he keep going? I like it. And the dude throws gas. So when he only has to throw gas in a short period of time, he can do it. It's just the control. But hey, he can do it. I know he can. It's looking a lot better for him now than him as a starter. All right, we're going to talk about this last guy here. I'm going to sneak him in real quick before we end here. That's Luis Severino, guy that feels like a curse word for me as a Yankee fan. 44% owned. Went out in his last outing and wasn't so bad. Even on the season, not atrocious. He's pitched about 10 innings. He has 13 strikeouts. He has a 3.6 ERA. He has a FIP at 2.51. His whip is super high, though, at 1.6. But, that should come down because in his career, he's never really been a super high, whip guy. He's a career 119 whip. So, I mean, it's on the hairy edge, essentially, of having what we'd qualify as a high whip. But I'm not mad at it. And that's going to come down. And him being on the Mets is a better situation. I think we mentioned him on a previous one, if not in the same week, and I apologize. That's why he's at the end of the show. But he's still not owned, and I believe the matchup is pretty good. I just added him myself. Sevy is going up against, if I'm not mistaken, Kansas City tomorrow. So again, same day ad leagues, but it's not a bad matchup. Yes, Bobby Witt is killing it. Vinny Pasquantino is looking like he's starting to heat up, but the rest of the team is okay. MJ Melendez is hurt. I mean, is performing, but that never lasts. He's very streaky. And same thing with Perez. So I mean, Severino can go out and perform and do his thing. So I like the matchup. I'm rolling him out there tomorrow. So try it. Same day ads, go for it. But thank you guys for listening. Please like, subscribe, comment, rate, review. I have one more episode. It's going to come out on Saturday, so look out for that. And while you're cutting your lawn, might as well give us a listen. And I'm going to probably don't know what I'm going to be talking about, but it's going to be a good one. I promise you on that. But with that being said, guys, have a good day.